Hello and welcome to this small little series and seminar here at Rumkraft. This is at lab time where I show, well, this is a series of free VSTs, and today we're gonna look at Cramit. And Cramit is a free multiband compressor OTT style, and it looks like this. And if nobody knows or anybody knows what OTT stands for, it's over the top compression. So it's kind of just smacking everything as hard as humanly possible to get, well, you can do it with, so it's parallel compression, so you can kind of get more sounds out of the thing, or you can get harder with basses and all kinds of stuff. But here you see Cramit, and the layout is pretty cool, I think, and it does what it does really, really well. That's why I love this one, this compressor. So the first thing we're gonna see is this is the compression multibands. So we have low, mids, and highs, and we have these thresholds here. So we have 6 different thresholds. So we have upper compression is this downwards compression on top. So we compress the top frequencies down, so they get squished in from the top and down, and this is the threshold of the downwards compression on each band. Do you want to press the button down, the lowest one? Just hold it. Yeah. So this is the threshold for the each band. And this is upwards compression, so we have lower parts and sound would get emphasized more. So it's sometimes it's kind of difficult to get a grasp on how it works, but it is pretty simple when you hear it. Hi Anton, welcome. And yeah, so we have low, mids, and highs. And up here we can do, right now it's compression. The error here is expansion. So we can also do, let's say, expansion on the lower part. So we emphasize the frequencies below 88 hertz. Right now you can see this is the crossover between the bands. So we have the lower part is under 88 hertz. And then we have the mids that's between 88 hertz and 2.5 kilohertz. And then the rest upwards go to the high. Then we can solo, so we only hear the sub or the low part. We can bypass it, so now it's only a 2-band compressor. Or we can bypass everything, so now the compressor part is out because it's not only a compressor, it's also a distortion unit. That's what makes this kind of unique from other OTT or multi-band compressors, that it has a built-in distortion. So when we hit B on everything, the compression is kind of off now. So now it's only a distortion unit. But let's just have everything running and press downwards. Over here, I'm going to explain all the small knobs and stuff before we actually hear it. So we have pre and post. So pre is the input we can distort. So if we distort the input signal, then you can see now it starts to distort over here, and we can choose, I think it's about 7 different algorithms it kind of morphs between, and then we can kind of gain that up if we want to, but we can take a listen on it afterwards. Just let's try and do this so you can see it. So this is the pre. If we hit post, it kind of starts all over, But if we go back to pre, it's still there. So it's still distorting the input. If we click on post, now it's distorting the input, and now we can also distort the output of it and do different. So now we can kind of go between these two. If we double click on the parameters, they would reset. So let's just reset it. So here comes like the little bit more weird thing about this, because now they call this speed. What is speed? So speed is a combination or the correlation between attack and release. So what we have here is, right now the compressor is kind of slow and grasp a lot more on the sound, and here it will get a lot more with the transients. So a fast attack and fast release. So that's what they mean by speed, and then they call it depth. And I don't kind of understand why they didn't just write attack / release on this, and then ratio over here, because this is just how much the compressor actually works. So it is more or less just a dry wet, or a amount of the ratio, so how much the compressor works. Then we have an in and output gain, so we can gain the input before it kind of works, and then we can control it by the output. Last, we have dry wet, so we can kind of make parallel compression if we want to. And then down here we have oversampling. And oversampling is just how much clearer we get, or how much more, what can you say, how much more detailed it's going to be. But like 8 times, my CPU is going to bump way up. And trust me, it sounds, I cannot almost hear the difference. But maybe it's me that is like that. And also, if you read down here, it says adjust band gains. So we can hold shift, and now you can see that we can just in volume kind of mix them like an EQ as well. So we can add or withdraw volume. We can hit command, and now they are kind of locked on each band, both of them. So we can just go up and down like that. And option on a Mac or alt on a PC is just all the top ones or the bottom ones. So we can kind of work together with them. And that's all the features it has. But I think let's just run the init, because the init just by itself here, if you don't touch anything, this is the OTT precise settings of the real OTT. So if we take the mix all the way down, I made this beat here. Now you can hear how it sounds. So now let's try and crank up the mix, and you can hear how big of the difference the OTT makes when I say it's gonna smack the beep out of it. Okay? If it's on the right, oh, we have to turn it on. Are you ready? Now we go. So you can hear it kind of forces everything to be kind of pressed together. But let's just have it on parallel, so let's go. So now it feels like it's getting hammered, but we still have half of the right signal and 50% of the compressed signal. So let's just have it full on. So now you can see what happens when we take the speed, or the correlation between the attack and release. So now it will get more staccato. Very, very narrow, the signal now. And then this is almost the normal beat, and how much of the ratio we actually want the compressor to work on. We could say, okay, we lose a lot of low end, so let's emphasize this instead. So we're gonna put this up. So now we get the kick instead, because now it kind of pushes the kick. Let's say now it's too loud, so I hold shift and turn this down a little bit. And you can see there's two lines. There's a blue one and a red one line up here. So the blue one is the input signal and the red one is the compressed signal. Okay? That's why it's, you can see the input signal is louder than the compressed signal. And if you take a look at when it's OTT, you can see how much dynamic there is on the blue line here, while these are just steady. They're just gonna, they're being smacked. And you can see the same happens here with the kick. It's just steady. Everything is just squished in. There's no more what's it called, dynamics in it. So it's kind of just getting smushed together, and that's why we can kind of then, when it's that much smushed, but it sounds so cool. Let's just bypass the compressor. So now we have the pure signal again of this. So now we can say, okay, we want to have some distortion on it. Right now it's 100%. It doesn't do anything until I kind of open up the drive. So let's take the drive instead and then open up here. So this is the input signal, and now we can kind of try and use the different algorithms. Let's see which one. Maybe this one. Try and gain it up. That's the input. So let's just have a little bit of the input like that, but let's take the output. Have it like that. Now we can start to have this. And if we then put take it down a little bit, because now we can really hear what's take the input signal, so it's a little bit louder, and the output. So I'm looking at my signals down here as well, the input, how much I don't want to go too crazy. But you can hear if I turn it off, and we can see there's 10 presets in here that does kind of, this is multi-purpose. So we have downwards compression only, without any distortion or anything. We have muffle, is this really tight compression. Subtle, OTT, so OTT, but just not so hard, because you can see the depth down here is kind of set to 50%. So it's just a subtle OTT. Then we have something called cleanup, and you can hear the difference between dry, wet. Just adds a little more flavor to it, but it's very subtle. Energy, just some other compression. Batter is kind of with distortion, so it gets this more crunchy stuff. Make space, yeah, make it short. Harmonic boost, this is good for basses and stuff where all the harmonics just get pushed a little bit back more. We can try and put it over to this bass. So you can see the harmonics really gets pushed up. We can hear the difference if I take the mix down. So we can mix it in. All right. Simple saturation. Kick improvement. So if we just have one kick, we can put that on top of it. Here, kick improvement. That was it. Do you have any questions about OTT or multiband compression slash distortion? It's really, really a cool, free VST that really can smack the shit out of it. One last thing. We have skins, so if you don't like how it looks, we have different skins. If it helps somebody, we could also say frames per second. I just cranked it full up. Yeah, I just like the default one, actually, to be honest. We can file a bug report and we can check for updates. Yes? Cool. Well, that was it for this time. Hope you enjoyed it. And yeah, in the description, I'll put a link to where you can get this. They also have a delay unit, so and I use that a lot. And I don't know if this is going to be a part of the series yet, but if it's not, check it out. Yeah. See you next time.